Sorry.
That's my contribution to the common man. Good morning, everybody. It's all written out here for me, so I don't, I get it right. I am Jane Klingman Scott, and I have the privilege of serving you as your past president for the Rotary year. Today, we're going to have a presentation from the United Way of Lakeshore, and we will start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, a membership moment, and a reflection from Meredith Smiley. We will recite the four-way test at the end of the meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for our membership moment, we've got photos. These photos showcase Rotarians demonstrating our club's commitment to a patriotic display with the United States flags along Seaway Drive on an important federal holidays. This first Monday in September is celebrated nationally as Labor Day. The Labor Day holiday grew out of the late 19th century organized labor movement, and it quickly became a national holiday as the labor movement assumed a prominent role in American society. Here's how it all started, with the facts supplied by the Labor Department, the Library of Congress, and other sources. In September 1882, the unions of New York City decided to have a parade to celebrate their members being in unions and to show support for all unions. At least 20,000 people were there, and workers had to give up a day's pay to participate. There was also a lot of beer involved in this event. On May 4th, 1886, a bomb exploded at the Union Rally in Chicago's Haymarket Square, which led to the violence that killed 7 police officers and 4 others. This incident led to most nations celebrating May 1st as Workers' Day. From May 11th to July 20th, 1894, more violence related to the Pullman Railroad strike followed. President Grover Cleveland and lawmakers in Washington wanted a federal holiday to celebrate labor, but not a holiday celebrated on May 1st. The Pullman strike led to President Cleveland to sign an act establishing the federal Labor Day in 1894. However, most states had already passed laws establishing a Labor Day holiday, so Senator James Henderson Kyle of South Dakota introduced Senate Bill 730 to make Labor Day a federal legal holiday the first Monday of September. And Congress approved this bill on June 28, 1894. Labor Day holiday celebrations have evolved through the years. In the late 19th century, celebrations focused on parades in urban areas. Now the holiday is a celebration that honors organized labor with fewer parades and more activities. It also marks the perceived end of the summer season. And just as a parenthetical, it still involves a lot of beer.
As Jane alluded to, as the grandchild of farmers, I just wanted to share this farming story with you, and it kind of does apply to the end of summer, and it certainly applies to Rotarians. There once was a farmer who grew the most excellent wheat. Every season he won the award for the best wheat in his county. A wise woman came to him to ask about his success. He told her that the key was sharing his best seed with his neighbors so they could plant the same seed as well. The wise woman asked, "How can you share your best wheat seed with your neighbors when they compete with you every year?" "That's simple," the farmer replied. "The wind spreads the pollen from everyone's wheat and carries it from field to field. If my neighbors grew inferior wheat, cross-pollination would degrade everyone's wheat, including mine. If I am to grow the best wheat, I must help my neighbors grow the best wheat as well." This is excellent advice for not only growing crops, but also great advice for how we live our lives as Rotarians. If you want to have a meaningful and happy life, help others find happiness, and remember the value of your life is measured by the lives you touch with love, kindness, respect, and hope.
Beautiful. Enjoy your lunch. We will reconvene in about 10 minutes. Resume the meeting, and the first order of business is we have guests that we want to introduce. So if you would come up with your guests, JJ and Rob and Matthew, come on up.
Look at this list.
We have our first guest.
All right. Hi, I am Jamie Hecker, and my guest today is one of our incoming exchange students, and he is actually staying with us this year. So we're so excited to have him staying with us, and I'll let him introduce himself.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Andres Maya. I'm from Colombia. I'm 16 years, and I'm from Socorro, Santander, Colombia.
You are going to?
And I'm going to attend Mona Shores High School.
Why don't you all go? Sure, okay. I heard there was unlimited storage, so we'll do the photo first. Photo first. Just smile.
You gotta get Mike's spot and Rob's spot. All right. Excellent.
Perfect. Always want to help the photographer. JJ Lewis, United Way of the Lakeshore. We have some guests joining us for the presentation that you all are about to enjoy. We have Jack Russell, Pat Schaefer, Jocelyn Hines, and Kim Suarez, all members of our board, and you'll get to meet them in about 5 or 6 minutes or so. So please join me in welcoming them to Rotary today. Thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody. Matt Farah, Muskegon County. I have two guests today. Our first one is Rich Francisco. He is our new CMHS Health West Director. He comes from Ottawa County, but this is like his third or fourth time here, so he's almost over the top. Rich Francisco. Now, the next guest, I asked him on the way down here why don't he introduce me? Because more of you know him than me. Who knows his name? Forget it. Greg Borgman.
Hi, I'm Karam Calkins, newer member, and this is my friend Walter Mrotz. And Walter, Walter's a retired engineer who we ride bikes with, and he's also an actor, so you may have seen him in some local productions. Hopefully next Wednesday, he'll go to our meeting in the morning to become a new member. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrea Rigler with SEH. We are an architecture and engineering firm, and I am the architect part of that here in Muskegon, and Carrie is part of the engineering part of that. So this is Carrie Rivette, and she's an environmental engineer, and we have a downtown office, and we walked over here and I thought, you know, this is a good opportunity for Carrie to learn about Rotary. So.
Hello, Marty Seitzma here. All right, I have to admit, I was a little offended when Jane said that Labor Day marks the end of summer.
Not for you, Marty.
But I've got some good news because the students are back. So join me in welcoming, we have students from Muskegon Catholic Central. We got 2 cheers for you guys. To introduce 2 of the seniors is Aaron Johnson. He is the assistant principal at the high school.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming us here today. We truly appreciate that. I just want to take a moment to introduce our 2 outstanding seniors that we brought with us today. We have Croy Clint and CC Cohn, and they're going to take a moment to talk about themselves for a little bit.
Hello, my name is Croy Clint. I'm a senior at Muskegon Catholic Central, 16 years old, and I enjoy the school. It's great. I play 3 sports for the school, including football, hockey, and baseball. Football game tonight, very exciting. You know, I'm a part of the student leadership program. We serve the community with that as well. Haven't yet this year, just started, but looking forward to the opportunities we will have to serve the community. Other than that, I'm part of the National Honor Society, another service organization, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Cece. I am also part of Student Council and National Honor Society. I'm also part of our peer ministry leadership group that we have at the school. I play 3 sports. Right now I play cross country and volleyball, and in the spring I'll play soccer. I'm also a senior, I guess, yeah, 17. Oh, next year, I do plan on going to college. Where, I'm not really sure yet. I've looked at GVSU, Aquinas, Calvin, University of Michigan maybe, and I plan to pursue my master's degree in clinical social work and go into mental health counseling.
Awesome. We can head back.
And now, we're going to move into our program. And to introduce our program is our own JJ Lewis. Oops, I forgot birthdays. I'll get them later. This chair's high for a little short me.
Good afternoon. And you're trying to chew food. Sorry, we'll try it again. Good afternoon. All right, this is a lively presentation, and we have several members of our United Way Board of Directors here with us and some of our staff. We're going to have a panel conversation, and Pat Schaefer, member of our board and community activist, is going to be serving as moderator. Our panelists this afternoon are going to be Aaron Kuhn, the Executive Director of Wimserdick, Dr. John Selman, President of Muskegon Community College, Kathy Moore, Director of Public Health, and Kim Suarez, Community Activist. We'll also be joined later on in the presentation by Jocelyn Hines, Community Activist, and Jack Russell, President of ROLAR. And we have some staff too, Christine Robert, President and CEO, representing United Way, and Dominic Bunker, Community Solutions Director. And I don't think the timer started yet. Wonderful. So without any further ado, Pat Schaefer.
Whoa. Hey, everybody. We're excited and feel like this is a privilege to be here today, so thank you for inviting us. Last week, we did have our staff retreat at Michigan's Adventure, and I want to thank Camille over here. And I did want to let her know that there are 60 horses, and it takes 7.5 revolutions for the carousel. We all had to count that last week. So our board retreat at Michigan's Adventure was attended by the majority of our board. And on your table, before I begin, on your table, there are some packets that are going to reflect some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. So let's see what's on the horizon. And here's our agenda. This is what we're going to try to go through in 3 minutes or less. And I'm not used to being the one being timed. Some of you know that I'm usually the timekeeper. So we're going to meet Alice, have an impact snapshot, and the rest of that, learn about Day of Caring, and invite you to learn a little secret that we've been keeping from the community today. So let's move on with our slides here. Just a review of our mission statement, of course, uniting to inspire change. And I love this bold goal because people love to hear numbers, right? 10,000 more working families to meet their basic needs by 2025. And so we're going to meet Alice, and I want all of you to say Alice with me. I'll say it first, and then you follow along. Next slide, please. Alice is asset limited. I want you to remember this. Asset limited, income constrained, employed. So if we walk out of here today and I ask you, what's Alice? Here's what you're going to say all together. Asset limited, income constrained, employed. And so our goal is to get those 10,000 families above the ALICE and the poverty threshold. And you'll notice it might be interesting for you to know that 42% of our Muskegon households and 40% of the households in Oceana and 42% in Newaygo counties are at the ALICE threshold. So we're going to talk about some things today that we found at some data that we learned last week in the 4 areas of fostering childhood success, encouraging youth success, strengthening economic mobility, and healthy families. And so I'm going to ask each of our panelists to talk about some of the data that we talked about last week at our retreat, some good information for you in the community, and then a couple of the solutions that were suggested. So we're going to start with Erin on fostering childhood success. Erin, you got 3 minutes.
Great, thanks. I'm Erin Kuhn, and I think one of the things that stood out most to our group was that 70% of children between the ages of 0 and I think 3, or maybe, 3 years old, Dominic is telling me yes, that's right. 70% of those children are taking advantage of WIC, and almost just shy of 50% is at the state is doing that, yet it showed that we were doing better. So we were very confused at that. So we had Dom come over, and she explained that, okay, for upward mobility, yeah, that's a bad thing. But for childhood success, they're actually taking advantage of the programs that we have within our community to get better and have the services that they need. So that's a good thing. And then next is that we still really have a lot of work to do to make sure that our littles by 3rd grade are reading at 3rd grade proficiency levels. John Severson, who many of you know, said something, in our group's Community Impact Council that really stuck with me, and it was children between age 0 up to 3rd grade learn to read. After 3rd grade, they read to learn. And that's something that that is a very long-term impact, working at that age, and that's something that we need to do. Opportunities that we have is there's a lot of need for volunteers to help our littles learn how to read. And one of the opportunities we have that we talked about in our group is really hitting the parents. We've done a phenomenal job in getting books in the hands of families through our Dolly Parton Imagination Library, but working with the parents to help them understand the importance of reading to their children. And some of those parents might struggle to read themselves. So how do we get those resources and help the families do what they need to do and understand the importance of literacy?
Well, thank you, Erin. That was great. Appreciate that. So Dr. John Selman from Muskegon Community College, encouraging youth success. So what did you come away with from the data and suggestions from last week?
Well, what we saw in our group, and we had a great group, by the way, that we work with, so I hope most of them are here. At any rate, we saw some improvement in graduation rates and decrease in dropout rates, which was really eye-catching, because that's the way we want to go. And then we saw a lot of gaps in partnerships, wraparound support services that individuals need to be successful in the school during the day. And we saw a huge gap there. And that was an area that we thought that we could work on to make a difference. And the other piece that we did see was within our group, or maybe within the board, we didn't have a K-12 partner, that voice, a counselor or a teacher that perhaps could lend some ideas, thoughts, suggestions, ideas to this effort. And I think Erin said this, but it takes all of us to make a difference in these numbers and to move the needle. And so that was one of the things that we took away. One of the other things that we want to do here as a board is to get involved more with convening conversations around some of these courageous conversations about what isn't working, and to look at other United ways in terms of best practices so that we can implement some of those best practices. And then along the lines of Newaygo and Oceana, that we would look at some of the best practices that we have here and make sure that we share those best practices in other counties. So a lot of work to do, but it's exciting and some great opportunities here. So is my 3 minutes up?
You guys are doing really good here. Kathy, that means you and Kim get a little, do you need another minute here, John?
I'm great.
Okay. That means Kathy and Kim can have an extra minute.
Well, I'm going to give it to Kim.
And Kathy now on strengthening economic mobility.
So our economic mobility task force group, what stood out are things that wasn't really surprising. We know that COVID really negatively impacted economic mobility for individuals and businesses in the community. We know that housing is an economic driver, and there are some challenges around affordable housing in our community. And we also know that there are workforce challenges as far as finding individuals willing to work. So some of the priorities we highlighted moving forward was to focus and support on proactive activities and programs. There are so many programs and activities that address reaction or reactionary programs where someone gets in a negative state, and then the programs will be activated to help support that. We feel like our best, most effective use of funding would be to focus on the reactive, those individuals in the ALICE population, trying to help educate, provide financial literacy and support before they get to a certain state. Then also we highlighted measures. So identifying the metrics that we can use to measure progress and measure the success of the programs. Some of the things that we're doing great here in Muskegon County, our housing programs and initiatives, there are a lot of agencies that's coming to the table and focusing on housing programs, including, of course, United Way leading many of those. And then we have exceptional collaboration among the municipalities, agencies, businesses in Muskegon County.
Thank you, Kathy. And now healthy families. Kim?
So we had several ahas in our group, and the first one was that the title of this pillar was Access to Health. So we went a little rogue because we really felt like it wasn't just access, but we wanted to improve outcomes. So we asked if we could change the name of this pillar, and Dominique came up with Healthy Families as a new and a more accurate name for what we were all trying to achieve. So that was our first one. Our second one was, much like Kathy talked about, the impact of COVID on some of the metrics and some of the work. And one example of that is immunizations. So we had good longitudinal data that told us that immunization rates went down pretty significantly during COVID. So a lot of work to do there. Our third aha was, although we improved in some areas, birth weights being an example of a place that we improved, we still have a lot of work to do, particularly in chronic disease and lowering the incidence and complications of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and obesity. So then what are we going to do? What ideas did we come up with as far as, how can we accelerate the pace of change? We had a lot of discussion about goals and metrics and measurement. And we really, in order to accelerate that pace of change, we really need to hold ourselves and our partners accountable for measurements and making sure that what we choose to work on is measurable. And that we partner in a way that we can cascade those measurements all across our existing partners. But we also thought, as we have a lot of partners in this area, but this is difficult work, and we need new partners, and we need new partnerships. So some innovation around how we partner with people, whether we fund them or not, in order to not only increase access to physical health, mental health, but new partnerships as well. And then the last thing is being very deliberate and very disciplined about aligning our funding with the goals. So, once we set those goals, once we lock them in, that should drive who and how we fund. So just some extra discipline in that area we thought would get us some accelerated change.
Thank you, Kim. Well, thank you to the panelists. We'll give them a round of applause. I just want to leave you with a couple things. Exciting years ahead as we work in the community to boost 10,000 more working families to meet their basic needs. Ambitious, but achievable. And thank you for your attention today. And I think every one of our panelists mentioned partnerships. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. And we really do appreciate your attention. And take those booklets home with you and share them with your friends, relatives, and neighbors. I forgot to call attention to this graphic that's up here, but I thought it really made an impact on me to see the five areas, but then to see the foundation of equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, along with Alice, volunteerism, and advocacy. So lots of partnerships in there. So it takes a village to raise a community, and help us out with that. Thank you.
United way of
the Lakeshore in Muskegon County.
Uniting to inspire
Change and build
thriving communities. We invite you to join us in this noble cause.
We invite you to join us in this noble cause.
We invite you to join us in this noble cause. We invite you to join us in this noble cause.
We invite you to join us in this noble cause.
We invite you to join us in this noble cause.
As the chair of United Way, I invite you to join us in this noble cause.
We invite you to join us in this noble cause. I love it.
And now I'll introduce Jack Russell and Jocelyn Hines.
Good afternoon. Wow, what a lot of amazing work, amazing people in this community that collect the data of what the community needs and lay it out so that we can collect the funds from individuals and organizations, companies in this community. And one of the things we do is we have to set a budget for a campaign. And many times when you set a budget for a campaign, we only go, maybe 5%, 10%, whatever. And this year we've done it a little different. We have a very strong campaign cabinet, and we set a goal. I'm not going to give you the number because we got to have a little drum roll first, and I'm kind of here to ask you to help me get fired in some way, shape, or form, because I was in this role last year and we got like that close to goal. So I have to come back and do it again this year. So the only problem with that is JJ set the goal, not me, right? So the goal is a really bold goal this year to expand well beyond, because we asked our partners, what do you need for funding, not what can we raise? So we asked what that need was, and we set that goal to what the need in the community is rather than just picking an arbitrary number. So we hope that makes a difference. So if you're like I am, you kind of feel good, you feel warm, that you've heard this message and you want to help. But you can get that same feeling by taking a nice warm bath. So I'm going to ask you to do something, right? Make a difference. And we've talked about this a lot. Give, advocate, and volunteer. It doesn't just have to be your funds. It can be your time. It can be volunteerism. So as we go into volunteerism, that's why I'm going to introduce Jocelyn Hines, and she's going to talk about Day of Caring that's happening next month. Thank you.
Okay, they just couldn't let me stay home and be unemployed. I thought I would stop getting invited to these things once I was unemployed, but here I am. Anyway, like Jack said, I'm Jocelyn Hines, and I'm one of the United Way's board members. So my first introduction into the work of United Way was through volunteerism, whether it was volunteering while I was in high school, during college, or even when I returned back home to Muskegon. United Way has always been the leader when it comes to volunteerism and a place where you can get invited, where you can get acclimated into the community. Every year, United Way offers an opportunity for everyone to participate in the biggest volunteer event of the year, United Way Day of Caring. This year, it will take place next Friday, September 8th, starting at 8 a.m. These projects we do for this one day have made a huge impact on many families around our county, whether it's helping local agency partners, enhancing community parks and green spaces, or helping veterans. This year, we'll be focusing on several projects, including veteran homes, local parks, and agency support. This will be our 29th annual Day of Caring, and we plan to surpass its 100th veteran home repair. Other projects we'll be doing on that day include helping Pioneer Resources install a sensory park for individuals with autism at their Wesley campus, as well as partnering with you all, the Rotary Club, on the groundwork of the first ever Midwest microforest in the Marquette neighborhood. According to Independent Sector, the hourly value of a volunteer is $31.80. That's more than what I'm making being unemployed. And according to Bob Skolnick's Facebook statuses, there are close to 240 members in the Muskegon Rotary chapter. If each one of you volunteered just 4 hours, that is over $30,000 worth of people power we are able to give to this community we love and care for so much. Now that I've made my speech, don't bombard Dom all at once. But if you are interested in volunteering, please see her after this meeting or visit United Way's website. You can also find out about more volunteer opportunities in the packet on your tables. Now we're going to open it up for questions from any of the panelists.
Oh, there's one.
What's the goal?
Oh, the goal for campaign.
Yeah, what's the campaign goal? Yeah, let's do it.
Make sure I have this number right, JJ. 2 point. They're getting it down to the cents here. 2.7 million, 2.7 million dollars is the target. Last year, our target was right around 2.2. So you can see this is a significant increase. So we've really ramped up to make sure we can make a bigger difference in this community. So I'm glad somebody wanted to know what that was. So I think we have our first $100 donation right back there, JJ.
Somebody explain the campaign. So those of us that want to get involved, how does my business get involved in a campaign?
Yes, campaign kickoff is really Day of Caring is kind of that initial kickoff. Some campaigns have started a little early. Any office, any business, large or small, can run a campaign. You can have a chili cook-off and vote for whose chili is the best and give that employee some kind of gift. Or what we do in our company, you get a day off if you have the winning chili, a paid day off. So we have some pretty good chili entries. So contact the United Way office. We have some pre-canned like promotions if you've never run a chili cook-off or a bake sale or any of those kind of things. There's multiple different ways that you can run it. Some companies do dunks, right? You can put your boss in a dunk tank. Who wouldn't pay to put JJ in a dunk tank? United Way employees, yeah. The only way to run a dunk tank is if you put ice in it.
Okay, hang on.
Jocelyn, I am unemployed. How would I give
Just bring cash to the United Way website, office, that works.
Okay, my question is, if you can't devote the whole 5-6 hours on Day of Caring and you can do 1 or 2 hours, what do you do from here on in to get registered or make sure they know you're coming?
You can register on the website, and you can, if you can only come for a couple hours, that's fine. Just let somebody know. We do coordinate lunches. Those of you who are coming for an all day, if you're registered, we actually feed you. So there's some thanks there. And it's worth $31, right? Because it's, yeah. Oh, yeah, there are signups right on your table. Write your name on it, let us know you're coming. Well, you can assign yourself, or if you know somebody that you want to go work on a particular project, you can do that as well. Or we will just assign you, and there's a myriad of different things, from construction projects to pulling weeds to mowing lawns. It's an amazing day to watch this community come together and make a difference.
As an expression of our thanks for your presentation, Muskegon Rotary will be contributing to Hand Wash. Hand Wash is a cooperative initiative between Terre Nueve in Haiti and Champion Rotary District 6290 to provide clean water, sanitation, and hygiene to rural areas of Haiti. So thank you very much for your presentation. And now we have birthdays, and that is Kimberly Taylor on September 2nd, John Gale on September 3rd, John Snyder and Kim Keeson on September 6th. Now, everybody who has a birthday has an opportunity to give us a birthday gift. And you can do that by picking up your birthday envelope, stashing your $10 in it, or going online using our little code thing. You know what that is. It wasn't in my notes, so I can't tell you. And now we're going to member spotlight. And our spotlighted person today is Emma Peterson.
Hi, I'm Emma Peterson, and I work for Trinity Health Muskegon. So for our hospital system, I am the director of philanthropy. So I work with donors that support our health system charitably. I've been there about 4 years, and while I've always worked for nonprofits, this is my first experience in healthcare, and it has been a wild 4 years, I can tell you that. I'm married to Frank Peterson, and together we have 5 kids, 4 of whom are teenage daughters, and then a 10-year-old son. I am a born and bred Muskegonite, so I am a Big Red, and then I have degrees from Michigan State and from Grand Valley. I really enjoy spending an hour each week with a group of people that I may not have sat with otherwise. It's a great way to stay connected, whether you're looking to network for work, you're looking to meet new people as friends, you're looking to stay or grow your connection to the community. I think that those are really, for me, the biggest benefits, and of course the service aspect. And I'm still just getting into different ways that I can serve through Rotary. Professionally, I think it's always important to be a member of Rotary. It's one of those things that it's a service club that just has so much respect within the community. And as we've seen service clubs, many of them kind of slow down over the years, Rotary is stronger than ever. And so I'm proud to be a member of Rotary, and I think it's certainly beneficial to me in my work also. I think we can all share the sentiment that we're in the right spot and we want to keep this club going, and we're a strong club. So I think as many of us can participate and step up to the committees and do the work that we've all been called to through Rotary, I think this club is going to live on for a long time.
And that's a woman who is surviving a household with 4 teenage girls. She can do anything. We have a lovely thing to do right now, and that is to induct a couple of members. So if John Selman will come up with Ken James and Susan Semiango, we can have our induction. Yeah, you travel around with that, huh? Just in case.
Okay, thank you. I have the honor and privilege of introducing 2 of my colleagues to you. Muskegon Community College recently took out a corporate membership. We thought that it was that important to the college and the community, and so we took out a community membership so that we could get more involved with the Rotary. So my first inductee is a Michigan native, Sue Semiango, recently returned after a 20-plus year stint in Colorado. Sue serves as our Chief Advancement Officer for Muskegon Community College, connecting the generosity of individuals, foundations, and businesses with opportunities to improve the lives of students, their families, and our communities. A first-generation college student who attended college with donor-supported scholarships, Sue always looks for opportunities to pay it forward through philanthropy and volunteering. Sue has a Bachelor's of Science and Master's of Art degrees from Eastern Michigan University in Special Education and Speech Language Pathology. That was her first career. And more recently, she earned certificates in nonprofit management from the University of Illinois, Chicago, and high performance leadership from Cornell University in December of 2021. Sue was recognized as a certified fundraising professional. Sue looks forward to service to Rotary and the greater Muskegon community. Sue Semiango. Other individual is Ken James, and with nearly 3 decades of experience spanning a multitude of industries, including nonprofit, healthcare, and higher education, Ken is driven by his passion to initiate cross-cultural dialogue and advance diversity, equity, and inclusion. As Chief Diversity Officer for Muskegon Community College, he continues his combined knowledge and lived experiences to deliver creative, intentional programs to students, faculty, staff, community members, and businesses. Ken is an alumnus of Kentucky State University and Grand Valley State University, from which he holds a master's in public administration. Most recently, he earned his executive certificate in diversity coaching through the Coaching Diversity Institute in partnership with Howard University School of Business, and is recognized as an associate diversity coach. Ken James. So, y'all stay up here, y'all. Okay.
Fellow Rotarians, an honored guest. On behalf of the Rotary Club of Muskegon, it is my privilege to induct 2 new members. Susan Samaniego and Kenneth James, you have been chosen for membership in the Rotary Club of Muskegon because your fellow members believe you to be worthy representatives of your profession and that you possess the qualities that will help you exemplify the true spirit of Rotary in your public, business, and social and private life. By joining the Rotary Club of Muskegon, you become part of a worldwide organization of business and professional leaders united in fellowship and dedicated to encouraging and fostering the ideal of service and high ethical standards, to help create goodwill and to help build a more peaceful world. Because you are a member of Rotary Club of Muskegon, you will be welcome to join in fellowship with any Rotary Club worldwide. Membership in Rotary is an honor and a privilege, and with this privilege, there are obligations. The Muskegon Rotary Club asks that you attend the club's meetings regularly, perform your share of club service, and use your knowledge and talents to help the Muskegon Rotary Club to carry out the principles of Rotary into the daily lives of our community. Do you accept these obligations and for membership?
Absolutely.
Oh my, ho, ho, ho. Then we are going to present you with the symbols of Rotary. You have a plaque, directory, and the lapel pin that will show the world that you are one of us. On behalf of the the Rotary Club of Muskegon, I am pleased to ask your sponsor, John Stallman, to give you these pins, and so your fellow Rotarians in the community will recognize you as Rotarians. We ask that you wear the pins proudly. In addition, I present you with these other membership emblems, a plaque displaying the ideals of Rotary and a membership directory. Fellow Rotarians, please rise and welcome Susan Samaniego and Kenneth James as I formally admit you to membership of this club and welcome you as members of the Rotary Club of Muskegon. Fellow Rotarians, please recognize our newest Rotarians in the world, Susan and Kenneth. And now we have another wonderful honor, and that is a Paul Harris Fellowship Award, and that's going to be presented by Meredith Smiley.
Thanks, Jane. Over the past few weeks, we have honored several of our fellow Muskegon Rotarians and community members for their contributions in support of the Rotary Foundation by awarding each of them with the Paul Harris Fellow recognition. However, becoming a Paul Harris Fellow is a milestone, not a destination. We ask those who become Paul Harris Fellows to continue supporting the Rotary Foundation and recognize them as multiple Paul Harris Fellows as they continue contributing to the Rotary Foundation. With each additional $1,000 donated, a Paul Harris Fellow is presented with a pin with either a sapphire or a ruby, indicating each level of their contribution. In our club, we currently have 39 multiple Paul Harris Fellows. Today, I have the privilege of honoring an individual who, in the spirit of Paul Harris, also dreams good dreams and makes them come true. I would like to invite Jim Fisher, and Jason Piasecki could not make it today, to come forward and tell us about our newest honoree.
Shortly, it won't be much of a surprise.
but I am extremely pleased, proud, and honored today to recognize someone I call a true friend and a colleague and partner in the community. Today, we have an opportunity to honor Kathy Moore as a +3 Paul Harris Fellow. In many instances, those who become multiple Paul Harris Fellows, including Kathy, on other occasions, make a contribution themselves. This particular honor today, Kathy, is on behalf of the club, and it is particularly to honor you and thank you with deep gratitude for all of your incredible leadership that you did for us throughout the pandemic. Just a few brief facts about Kathy, and then a little bit about what she did during the course of the pandemic. Kathy grew up in Muskegon Heights, is a proud Muskegon Heights Tiger, attended Muskegon Community College, for which she was a Distinguished Alumni Award recipient for 2023, class of 1991. And she also attended Grand Valley State University and University of Michigan as well. Am I correct, Kathy? Yes. And she also has two daughters who were proud University of Michigan graduates. Makes me feel good. Kathy is the Administrative Health Officer and Public Health Director for Muskegon County and has been part of the county for over 30 years. And I'm proud to tell you that for, I think, most of those 30 years, you and I have worked together, Kathy, in the community. And I can tell you firsthand that Kathy, and I think many of you know this, is truly a servant leader and a true professional and a leader's leader in the community. Two organizations today that she has served are the United Way, for which she's past president, and Muskegon Community College. She's been a trustee since 2014 and is the treasurer of the board, and numerous other organizations in the community. In addition to her two daughters, she also has a 14-year-old son who is an athlete and mathlete in the Reese Puffer schools. Let me talk for a minute about what Kathy did during the course of the pandemic. Interestingly, she's a past president of Muskegon Rotary, and she was the president from 2018 to 2019. If we look at the chronology of that, she finished her term as of midnight, June 30th, 2019. Little did she know what she was going to be called upon to do less than a year later on the part of the pandemic. Linda Juarez Garzaloni, who's here today, served as the president from 2019 to 2020 and inherited quite a challenge on behalf of the club, and I know that thanks to Kathy, Linda got some great guidance in the process. The next year was Mark Meyer's year as president of the Muskegon Rotary Club, and the entire year was Zoom. Mark is here, and it seems to me like your very last meeting was actually in person. And then after Mark, Jason Piasecki took over, and Jason was going to help me with this today and made a few notes. But Jason was very appreciative because we were still in new territory. And Kathy was very helpful with constant reporting to the club. She did it on Zoom. She did it during the course of the meetings. It really guided us in the process. I can tell you that with the Crandalls and with Nancy McCarthy, Kathy called on us in early 2021 when vaccines were just starting. And she called on Rotary because she knew that she could count on Rotary to stand up a clinic. And that's exactly what we did literally overnight. And many of Rotarians and friends were participants in the very early clinics. So on behalf of Muskegon Rotary Club, Kathy, I can't tell you how much we appreciate everything that you did and continue to do. And I'm honored that you're my friend.
Oh my goodness. I am just so surprised. So I did wear my Paul Harris +1, and I was looking for my +2 this morning and I couldn't find it. So now I got a nice fresh one. I pride myself on knowing everything, and I did not know this. And I sat here wondering, like, what if I didn't show up? Like, I'm a whim person. It's like, yeah. Oh, Jenny, she did ask me, and I told her, yeah. And she said she was going to meet with me before or after, and I got here and she wasn't here. Oh, well, nice trick. So I can tell you, of the accomplishments that this community experienced during the COVID pandemic is because of all of you leaders, and Linda Juarez, oh my, Linda Juarez, Julia Rupp, we would talk and make plans, and staff would make it happen. Rotary's committee, they, more than what you said, Jim, they helped make phone calls and schedule appointments and then show up at the community events on weekends and manage the lines, help with registration and all of that. It was a lot of work, and it was not all me. And I really appreciate this, but unfortunately we can't break this into little pieces and share it. But speaking of sharing, this morning, so Jim and I don't sleep a lot. We don't sleep together either, but yeah. But we're up a lot in the middle of the night, so we don't sleep a lot, and we're up a lot in the middle of the night, and sometimes we'll text each other. But this morning, I read a little bit about Ottawa County, and I was just thinking, I should just pull together all my awards and put them in a box and go give it to her. So just extremely blessed that we had existing relationships. We have always been collaborative. We know our, hospital president, foundation president, superintendents by first name. And other communities like Ottawa County, Kent County, they do not. And so they had a really difficult time building those relationships, and then leaning in and listening and sharing, just deciding we're going to decide this together. I can tell you we had challenges where the schools wanted vaccines and the law enforcement and clinics wanted vaccines. So what I did is I just had them all meet every Thursday at 5:30 and just battle it out and just listen. And then, over time, because everybody in their own respective industry is the most important to them, and it should be, because that's their job. But over time, they started appreciating the struggles that other industries and realms were going through. And over time, it was really easy to say, okay, guys, we're getting 2,000 vaccines this week. We're going to give 500 to the schools. We're going to give 500 over to the providers. We're going to have a couple of hundred for law enforcement, but we really have long-term care and nursing homes. It's really impacting them the most. So we really need to divvy up the biggest majority. And my leaders, or the leaders in this community, they just all agreed and supported and shared. And sometimes when they go back to their office and their colleagues would be like, what the hell is Kathy Moore thinking, blah, 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 blah. They would defend me. And it's because they were a part of the process. And Rotary was a significant part of the process. Again, I couldn't have did it without you guys, but I very much appreciate this.
Today, my fellow Rotarians, we move closer to a more peaceful world as Kathy Moore joins multiple Paul Harris Fellow candidates and honorees today. We are privileged to recognize our fellow Muskegon Rotarian for her continued support of the Rotary Foundation. Kathy, you are being honored today as a multiple Paul Harris Fellow in special appreciation for your continuing support of the work of the Rotary Foundation and the many ways in which your life exemplifies the humanitarian and educational objectives of the Rotary Foundation. Therefore, on behalf of the President of Rotary International, Gordon McAnally, and the Chairman of the Trustees of the Rotary Foundation, Barry Rassin, I am pleased to recognize Kathy Moore as a Paul Harris Fellow +3 recipient. Past President Jane will now present you with the multiple Paul Harris Fellow. You got that from Jim already. In appreciation of your support for the humanitarian and educational objectives of the Rotary Foundation. So Kathy, once again, accept our congratulations and sincere appreciation for your commitment to our shared world understanding in peace goals. And Rotarians and friends, one more time, join me in recognizing and congratulating Kathy Moore as a Paul Harris Fellow.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah. And now we're moving on to announcements. And as it happens, Kathy Moore slipped me this announcement, which is from Mildred B. Johnson, a previous Paul Harris awardee. And her, Kathy's remarks was that Mildred is still bossing her around. So she wrote a lovely thank you note. And the part I want to read to you, I think, is a compliment to us, but also a compliment to one of Mildred's girls, Kathy, when she says, "You are a beautiful light on the planet Earth. Keep on shining for God and humankind." So thank you, Mildred, for us and for Kathy. Other announcements. Doug Woods wants you to remember that there is a new member orientation at 8 a.m. on Wednesday at Shoreline Inn. We have another announcement from the Seaway Run Committee. All of you on the Seaway Run Committee, stay right where you are after lunch because you're having a meeting. We do not have Rewind meeting this week. And now I'm going to turn the microphone over to Roger with just a little bit of trepidation.
You're right, there should be some trepidation. Well, we've heard a couple references. I'm sure you know why I'm here. We're getting near the end of summer. We've heard that today, right? Well, what comes after summer? Right, Harvest Fest. Thank you, Jamie. I did not plant that, but nice move. Nice move. Harvest Fest, October 26th, from 5 to 9 at the Culinary Institute of Michigan, the SIM, just down the road here. So I think this morning I was up early. I probably sleep more than Kathy and Jim, but I was up early, and it was cool. I felt the cool air, which means fall's coming. So you've been warned. Some exciting developments. Barry's Greenhouses is donating all of the interior decor at the SIM. It's going to be amazing. So please come check it out. The SIM is working on its menu, and trust me, it will be incredible. Silent auction items are needed. We're looking for family 4-packs, anything such as tickets to a show. Jason, I am a season ticket owner. Maybe I could donate some tickets. Well, we can talk about that. Yeah. Dinner, etc. The Aquastar has already donated tickets toward an auction item. So there's some exciting things coming. And then, thanks to Kim, there will be a volunteer sign up coming out end of this, I think the end of this week, which would be tomorrow, for volunteers. We're going to do it like we did for Party in the Park that I think worked very well using Sign Up Genius. So we are looking for volunteers. So, and we could always offer tickets. I had a Rotarian say to me when I walked in that my words inspired him to buy tickets last week. So I hope that my words inspire others to buy tickets. Thank you.
I have another announcement that is from John Noling and Dom Bunker about the Day of Caring, which we heard so much about. So I will reiterate that message that if you want to volunteer for the Day of Caring, you have the little packets on your table, please do so. And now we have the raffle.
Yes, thank you. First will be $5. And Kathy draw.
The number is 563.
563.
563.
Really?
Oh! This is Kathy's day. Oh. Oh. That's amazing.
$10. 526. All right, take it kindly. $463.
Excellent. All right. Prizes awarded. The next week's program is the Muskegon County Medicine Take Back Program. And a message from our president: spend some time over the Labor Day weekend to labor on your club runner profile and add a photo if needed. And so now we will rise and go through the four-way test of the things that we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it true to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a good week and go out and create hope in the world.